Hiya guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and this is Extra Part 2, or Extra Visit B, whatever you want to call it, revisiting the Extra. So last night I did a video all about the wings, and today I've released Part 3 of the video. It would appear that a few of you are a bit sort of confused, and rightfully so, it's my stupid fault. I put the extra video out, which was actually part, as I said in the video, it's part of part 5 being filmed. So I put that out last night for anybody building the model now and to catch them before they make a mistake. So I put that one out last night and then put out part 3 today, and now part 4 and part 5 are waiting. So this is all to do with the construction of the wings in this beautiful little Airfix 124 Spitfire. So I just want to go through what I've discovered, because I've now done it and they've come out absolutely perfect. So I want to go through what I've done. So here we go, white balance ruined. Let me zoom the camera out a bit so we can see the whole book. Okay, so what they're basically asking you to do in the instructions, you've done all your tailplanes and everything, is glue these rear parts into the rear of the wing. These are like the rear spars or whatever. Glue them in as I did in part 3 and clamp them down. Everything's fine. They've got a great location. They sit in there. Really, really nice. Glue them in, absolutely fine. Then you've got these two parts here, E2 and E3, going into the main spar. Great, absolutely fine. Glue them in, nice and solid. Well done. Job done. Then this is where it comes to the funny bit. And this is where James accused me of being confused. James, no. Basically, I guess you could say confused, more flummoxed, because I really don't understand why they've got this build sequence like this. And this was what I was talking about. So what they're telling you to do is fit the spar in without glue, and then fit this rib in without glue, which is absolutely fine, and then build up this wheel bay, glue all this together, and then fit this wall of your undercarriage bay, but don't glue it into that spar. So I don't know if they're telling you to glue it to the wing and don't glue it to that spar. I don't know. And then they're telling you to fit this rib into the wing with the wheel bay on it, put it on there, and sort of, I guess they're telling you to glue it in there, but don't glue it to the spar. I don't know. And then you're going to do exactly the same on the other side. Okay, so you're going to build the wheel bay up, so it's a thing like that, all done. Right. And then when it's all in there, glue it all down. But the problem I have is there's no real positive location for anything. And why on earth would you fit the wheelbase first and let them determine the position of everything else? And that was basically my confusion, my doubt, whatever you want to call it. So I've come up with my own build sequence, which I've done, and I'm going to sort of divulge it with you now so that you don't fall into the trap. The reason I say you don't fall in the trap is I don't think anybody is stupid, incapable or whatever, or even needs help, but there are people out there that do appreciate my advice. But if you don't know, Model Nerd is also building one of these on YouTube, and he messaged, as I say, I don't watch anybody else's builds because I don't want to be swayed. But he messaged me and said that, or he didn't message me, he put a comment in the video, in the extra video, and he said that he just went on and glued it all up, built it as per the instructions, but he did notice that he had to force one of these ribs over to get it all to fit together. So obviously on his, the spar is over one way because the spar has no location. There's a molded groove in the wing which it sits in, but there's no location. Now I've built the wing, you can see it here, and that's all done, and this is all covered in part 5, but that spar is located in there, absolutely solid and lovely. When I first, what I decided to do was build this up and glue the spar in, and if you remember, I clamped it to a bar, and that was it was left. What I realised then was, hang on a minute, if it's clamped to that bar, why is there a gap over here and there was no gap here? Because there's two little end stops on the wing, and I actually had the spar moved over. And you would think, well, that doesn't really matter. What I've since discovered is this spar is what positions the front of the fuselage. When you put your bulkhead into your fuselage, okay, like this, So you've got your firewall bulkhead, whatever you want to call it, is in your fuselage. When you mount your fuselage onto the wing, like so, the spar is what centers that bulkhead firewall. So in other words, it is centering the front of your fuselage. And if you remember, I said in that extra video, what I didn't know was if that spar was out, was it going to exaggerate it? Was it going to make your fuselage do this sort of thing? Go out of perpendicularity with the spar. So yes, it does. So what I would suggest, I wish what Airfix had done, and I have mentioned this in part 5, I wish they'd put like a location in here, like a couple of walls there with a peg or something to locate the spar centrally, because what really matters is that the spar is central in here. And I did show you a recess in there, whether you can see it or not on there I don't know, but there was a recess in there and there's a couple of lugs, and lo and behold, the firewall actually fits into that recess and between those lugs, as you can see there. So that wing, that spar, needs to be dead central. So here is my recommended build sequence. Place the spar into the wing, just like they're saying there, with no glue, and add this this rib here, F33, again with no glue. You can just add those, that's this one and this one we're going to add in first. So it's F33 and F3. Okay, so just get a couple of pegs, hold them down at the back, just like that. Okay, and they will stay in position. They don't need to be glued. And then with a couple of closed pegs, hold your spar down onto your wing. Okay, you don't need to be using flat bars or anything. And center, where it sits in the center of these wings, between these two ribs that you fitted, make sure it is sitting dead center in here. Because the other thing is the engine bearers go into those holes there. So if your spar is out, your engine will be out. So this area here is what determines everything that you're fitting onto the wing. So make sure it's dead center there. Give that a clamp. You can clamp over the top of those spars there, over the top of those ribs, just like that. Okay, and then slide it all over, slide it all about until it's absolutely dead central, and then put some Tamiya extra thin in there, glue it there and there, and just glue the center. Leave that to dry for at least 12 hours so it's absolutely solid. I say 12 hours because it's a very, very nice plastic. It's fairly soft. It's not like the old blue tack that I call it, but it's still fairly soft, and it does take a while to cure because it gets quite attacked by the hotness of the Tamiya glue. So leave that for a good 12 hours to dry, and then you can start putting it on a flat surface with weight on it, or clamping it down or whatever, and then just add these spars, add that wall there, add the spar, and I cover it all in number 5, but I just add these spars and just worked outwards, these ribs, and just worked outwards. But the main thing was getting that spar glued onto the wing, and as you know, I clamped it onto a flat bar to make sure it was dead straight on the bottom. And the result is what we all want. The result is I can come along here. Oh, the other thing is they tell you to fit the wheelbase in. First of all, you don't need to do that. Which one's that? That's this side. You can see I've got everything in, all the spars are in. I can come along with that wheelbase and just drop it in. So now I can concentrate on the position of the wheelbase relative to that hole, rather than having to worry about the position of the spars and everything. So I can just put that in there like that, just in there. Now just drop in. You can see how easy that is to fit, just like so. Okay, and then the wing tops. Look at this. This ain't no Hellcat. Look at that. They just go on like that. That one's just going to go on like that. All your gun bays line up perfectly. There's no pulling and stretching and stuff. And then you can drop your fuselage on, just like so. And you can see that the joint for your wings is spot on. And I can put the bulkhead in there. Hang on, come on. I can get the bulkhead in here. Get it all centered. And as you can see, it all fits perfect. And nothing is being pulled about. So that's my suggestion. I am an engineer. I have an engineering background. I've been modelling for 53 years now. So I'd like to think I know what I'm doing, and I would seriously suggest, if you are doing this, follow my lead, fit the main spar, fit that rib, clamp it all down, get that spar absolutely dead centered, glue it in the center position, only in this area here, and then you can start working outwards. But I would make sure that that is centered on that center panel there. That is the most important part. The way I had it before, it was about 0.5 millimeter out. I know it doesn't sound a lot, but if you pull that fuselage over 0.5 millimeter, okay, if I pull that over 0.5 millimeter, guess what? I get a great big gap. I'll show you what 0.5 millimeter looks like. That's about 0.5 millimeter there. So you can imagine, and then this side would be all butted up and tight. So yeah, worth taking the time, get that in the middle. Thanks for watching, guys. Any questions, just pop them down below and I will answer them. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.